So what if you're not 65 and you want to retire early? How do you get insurance? What are you going to do for your options, right? You don't qualify for Medicare yet, but maybe you do. So I want to go over some of the options today. It seems to be was a hot topic in the comments over the last couple of videos that we talked about things. So I want to kind of go over that a little bit with you based on the research I've done. I did research like this before because I had talked about, obviously I knew I was going to go earlier. It'd be great if my wife could retire with me because she's quite a bit younger. But we're just not in a position that that's going to work right now for a lot of reasons. But she's younger and she can still work and wants to work. She loves her job. So if she can keep insurance, that covers me. And of course, that's one of the options, right? If you can get spousal coverage, that's a good way to go. Obviously, you don't have to pay extra for that, or you only have to pay the difference between, a single employee and adding family. So that's the option I can use because my wife is going to continue to work. But what if that's not your case? So here's some options for you. Obviously, to me anyway, the most obvious one is Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, nicknamed Obamacare because Obama put it in place. And they have really, really good rates. And you can shop them around, and what happens is that they base it a lot on your income, so you get subsidies for it as well that offset cost. So it keeps it very affordable, and you don't have to worry about having pre-existings, which is huge because I have pre-existings, which is one of the reasons we're going to use my wife, because at least to cover me till I hit Medicare age. The other option you can get is with Cobra, and that is usually you buy through your employer, and the downside is it's expensive because you're paying like their cost, which is not great, and it's only for an 18-month period. So that's not necessarily affordable for everybody. Another thing that you can consider, and I find this to be true with a lot of big companies, is that they have a retirement group plan that you can opt into when you retire. It doesn't mean that they're paying for it. It just means that, hey, we use United Health, for instance, one of the big ones that's out there. We use United Health. We have a group plan discount because there's so many of us involved. You can opt in for that, and it might be cheaper than Obamacare or cheaper than some options, okay? One of the other ones, of course, would be Medicare if you are considered, or Medicaid, I'm sorry, if you are low income and retired, or if you and don't qualify for Medicare, or if you are obviously, if you go out on some kind of a disability, then you can get disability insurance that's offered through Social Security and Medicaid. And if you qualify for that, obviously that'd be the way to go because it's going to offset and give you low or no cost insurance. And it will also include any pre-existings you might have. So that's another option. And they all have different eligibilities based on the state and et cetera. So you need to check into that if it's something you need to consider. And of course, you can always go with private healthcare insurance. Now, recently, our company offered us a long-term care health program with zero, what's the word I'm looking for? You didn't have to have any eligibility except be an employee with the company. You didn't have to pass any health things or anything. The problem was it wasn't really a good price. It was like $1,600 a month for $250 worth of long-term care coverage that you could take 6% a month if you needed long-term care, and otherwise it became a death benefit, which is nice, but $1,600 a month is a lot of money, right? So it's not necessarily affordable. Of course, there are some options out there for short-term insurance programs, and that might be, maybe you can buy just enough to get you over the hump. Maybe that's something to consider, especially if you have a pre-existing. But I can tell you again, pre-existing conditions are going to destroy your health care coverage, and it's going to be really hard to get it based on anything else. The only death benefit that I can get for my family, for my death, is the one that I have through work, and then after that it's going to be zero. And that's because through work, if I didn't have to do any qualifying. But I cannot buy health care or buy life insurance for myself because I have a pre-existing chronic condition. And it's nearly impossible to buy, and if I could buy it, it's super, super expensive. So the best thing you're going to be able to do is to use the Affordable Care Act if you're eligible and you want to go that route. And like I said, it's based on income, and you can get some pretty good prices. And that's nothing to quaff at. And it covers everything. You can get it based on how much you want to pay. I have a high deductible insurance plan here at work already. Affordable Care Act has the same kind of a plan where you can do a high deductible plan and basically just cover the basics until you get above that number. And if you can afford to do that, that'd be the cheap way to go. And of course, if you have enough money, maybe you can just do self-insured, which means you're just paying your way as you go. Anyway, that's the options I came across. If you have any good ones, share them with the group. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.